Hey, what's going on? It's your boy BT, and I came here to talk some boxing with the thousands of True School Sports subscribers. Now, it's August now, so happy August to everybody. Gonna be a big month here on the channel, as you guys can see. I already dropped a couple interviews with Adrian Granados and Christian L.O.K. Noni's local kid here in South Florida. So stay tuned for that. Also got some other interviews coming up. You'll see them once they're out, but. Boxing talk. Let's talk about Jarrell Big Baby Miller in his fight with Gerald Washington. I've been seeing a lot of people post their opinions on this fight, and as far as Jarrell goes, because I watched part of it because that night I was at the I went to a baseball game and I went to go see my Marlins play, but I did watch some of it while I was actually at the game. And then I watched it back once the Showtime had put it up. And, I see a lot of people saying that, Jarrell was slow and Jarrell was fat and Jarrell sucked and Gerald sucked. And this is my take on that fight. This is really my take on that fight. Jarrell, I think all things considered, Jarrell Miller looked pretty good. He looked solid for, a guy who, if you've been following his career, you know that the weight being at a good fighting weight for him has always been a challenge. So for him to have almost a year out of the ring, he came in at 298, which was like a career high. I've seen Jerome in the gym. I know how much he can balloon up in weight sometimes. So for him just to be at 298, I think was a good enough weight for the opponent he was fighting in Gerald Washington. But Jarrell Miller, I thought, first of all, let's start with I guess like the fundamentals. His jab. He showed a good commitment towards his jab the entire night. I thought he did a relatively good job of putting mental pressure as far as following Gerald and being able to walk him down. He was doing that the whole fight, and it was good to see. It's something that he should be able to do when you're 300 pounds and you're relatively mobile and an accurate puncher. So that was good to see. As far as Gerald Washington goes, early on he was landing a good amount of punches throughout the night, especially early on in the fight. But I think his problem, and I like Gerald Washington, but this is why, like, when you look at the experience and the fact that credit to him, he's definitely been someone that I respect because he started boxing later on in his life and he's worked himself up to become one of the top 20 heavyweights in the world, which is no small accomplishment for somebody who starts boxing later in life coming from another sport. But his problem was that he is an arm puncher. He's an arm puncher, meaning that he's throwing punches with his arms and he's pushing a lot of his punches, and they're not getting the full power on them. They're not snapping hard under his punches. So even when he was landing jabs or rights or hooks, they weren't hurting Jarrell early on enough to get his respect, and he was able to walk through those punches and still impose himself on Gerald Washington. Now, I think it was like the 6th or the 7th round where Gerald was on the ropes and he threw a nice hook and a couple other shots that momentarily buzzed and hurt Jarrell. But outside of that, Jarrell was able to pretty much handle Gerald Washington's punches and walk through whatever he threw. Aside from that, Jarrell Miller, I've seen him spar because if you guys don't know, Jarrell Miller, he used to do a good amount of sparring here at the Heavyweight Factory here in South Florida, which is like literally in my backyard. And I would go there. I've gone there a couple of times on occasion to see him spar. And I've known this from occasions that Jarrell has always been a slow starter. Jarrell has been a guy that he's not going to come out the first round or the second round and have his best fight. He's someone that slowly warms up and gets better and better as fights go along. And much like his sparring sessions, the fight was the same. You saw him as the fight wore on, he began to slip punches more. He began to counter more. He began to land sharper punches as the fight went on. So Jarrell definitely, I think, when you consider the fact that this is a man that, if you know anything about his career, if you know anything about him, if you've seen him in person, he's a very large man. He's someone that puts on weight very easily. He's someone that loves his cheeseburgers. And despite that, he came into this fight, and I think he had a really good showing against not a great opponent, but still a respectable opponent that you have to get up for in Gerald Washington. And where does he go from here? I mean, Jarrell's, if you look at his last couple of fights, I'll say his last 2 fights. I think now his resume is beginning to improve a little bit. He beat Fred Cassie, a good, tough heavyweight. Gerald Washington, another good, tough heavyweight. But you like to see Jarrell step up in class and fight a Dillian White. And he said he's not going to go to the UK, and I'll address that in another video. But I think that's a fight that has to happen. A Dillian White fight, a Brian Jennings fight. I know Jarrell. That's an American heavyweight showdown. That wouldn't be a bad one if Brian Jennings can get past his next opponent. Dillian White versus Brian Jennings, or not Dillian White, Jarrell Miller versus Brian Jennings. To me, makes a lot of sense, and I know that would be actually like maybe a 100-pound discrepancy because Brian Jennings is not a big heavyweight. So I don't know how that will work out, but Jarrell, you got to put Jarrell in there with someone with more quality now that he's got that one fight in. Hopefully he can stay more active. I know he's got his whole big baby promotions thing going on, but I saw people disrespecting Jarrell, saying that like, okay, this guy is garbage and he can't beat this guy, and he can't beat that guy. I think Anthony Joshua, that'd be a very hard fight for him because Jarrell, if you watch any of his fights, even this one, he's really only effective against you if he can cut the ring off. So if you're a fighter who can sit there, hold your ground, and not have the ring cut off on you, you have a great chance to beat Jarrell Miller because he's not someone that is a tremendous boxer in the center of the ring. So it'd be a little harder to do that against Anthony Joshua. I would be led to believe just because of the size, the strength, and the power of Anthony Joshua. But as far as a guy like Deontay Wilder, I think Jarrell could still hold his own with Deontay Wilder. I think Jarrell could pull an upset against Deontay Wilder just because of the fact that Deontay, I've seen many times in fights where the ring gets cut off on him. He'll sit there and he'll take shots. He's not the most, he doesn't move his head the most. Jarrell can land a punch on Deontay Wilder, especially now that he's got a fight under him. He can get better with time. You got to always take into account that this is coming off a year layoff, and this is a super heavyweight. Jarrell Miller is the biggest boxer you'll ever see. So I thought it was good showing all things together. Now, as far as Gerald Washington, this is his second straight stoppage loss. He lost to Deontay Wilder after a good showing, and he has an even less impressive showing here against Jarrell Miller. So where does Gerald Washington go from here? I think his level in boxing has been established, that he is not an elite heavyweight, but he's a quality top 20 caliber heavyweight. And he's kind of a gatekeeper. If you can't beat Gerald Washington, you can't go on to get the bigger fights at heavyweight. So that's what he is right now. But hopefully for him, he can use his experience from the Wilder fight, the Miller fight, the Amir Mansour fight, and the Klitschko camp. He's getting some really quality experience here. He fought a guy that's the biggest in the division in Jarrell Miller as far as his weight and his size. He fought one of the smaller heavyweights in Amir Mansour. He fought one of the more lankier heavyweights in Deontay Wilder. And then he fought another lanky, tall, but still toned heavyweight in Vladimir Klitschko. So the guy definitely has been around the block, and I think it could serve him well if he uses the experience properly and sharpens his toolbox, sharpens his skill set. So I like Gerald Washington, fan of his. Hopefully, nothing but good things for him in the future. But yeah, that's my opinion on the fight. I think Gerald had a good showing, was countering really well, walked through his shots. Definitely ran out of some steam there towards the latter part of the fight. But what do you expect from when a guy is fighting at a career high weight of 298, and on top of that, he's been out of the ring for almost a year. You just can't expect him to be what he was when he was active. So give him some more time, and I think Jarrell will get better as he gets more rounds, and hopefully he can stay active and not have promotional issues, because he now has his whole big baby promotions thing he's got going on. So hopefully that can play a role in him having more of a hand on his career. So shout out to Jarrell Miller on a good performance, and wishing nothing but the best. So let me know what you guys think of Jarrell's performance against Gerald. What did you think about it? What did you rate his performance? Do you think he's just a fat guy who's never gonna beat any of the top heavyweights, or do you see some potential there? Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Take the time to subscribe, and you can love me or you can hate me, but I'm just a kid from the day. So until next time, take care, guys.